So once the chips enter this building, the semi-truck backs in and dumps them all in a pile, and we really want as quickly as possible to get them into the cooking process. The longer they sit out there, they've been snowed on, they're wet, they've been ground up, they start to compost in that pile. So it'll smell great in here, but that's not the point. We want it to smell great in the bottle. So the quicker we can get them into the cooker, the better. So they'll enter the building. We put one of those giant baskets, we call that a basket, that platform with the expanded metal on it. We'll attach that to this crane, bring the crane over, and set that basket straight down into the bottom of the cooker. We'll keep those chains that are around the outside up over the top. Okay, so those chains are fastened up here, the basket's in the bottom. We'll start dumping the chips in. We use the skid steer right there to scoop up chips and dump them down inside. If you, one person is driving that, there's usually 2 people down inside of the cooker, or more hopefully, the more the merrier, stomping down the chips. We stomp down the chips to make sure that we can get the most chips in per cook, because we're going to be using the steam. We might as well have every chip we can get in there. And also more chips are coming, so the more the merrier. And also, so there is not a path of least resistance, so the steam cannot bypass any of the chips that are in there. We want the steam to enter and slowly permeate all the medium that is in there, not to just shoot up one side. Okay, does that make sense? And I'll get to the distillation part in a second, but just to sum up what the people upstairs are doing, because we kind of have an upstairs crew. There's a field crew delivering the chips. This crew is processing the chips. They load it, cook it, and at the end, they'll drive that crane back over, sit it on top of the chips, link all the chains to the hooks on the outside of this spider thing, and then start pulling with that crane. It's a 10-ton crane, and pull the plug up out of the cooker. It's pretty impressive. It's real steamy, and you'd never guess the thing would stick together, but it's kind of stuck together like a great big wine cork. You know, and it just comes out looking like this great big steaming wine cork, and it's cold out, you know, because we do this in the winter, so it's a really steamy deal. And it goes up, and then we walk it out to the end of the beam, and then lower the whole plug cork thing down into the back of the semi-truck, grab the basket out from underneath it, and just kind of pull it out with the crane, and that dumps all the chips into the back of the semi-truck. They take it out there, dump it, and the chips are used for landscape mulch, for conditioning our soil, for a multitude of things the next spring. Hopefully by the time they've pulled this one out, cleaned it, refilled it, that one is ready to go. It's just finished cooking. So, you know, they might have 10 minutes of downtime, and then bam, on to the next cooker, and then repeat. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and all day long for 12 hours. We work 6 12-hour days. And you're jumping around on top of the chips. I mean, I guess that you run about 10 plus miles on chips every single day. You know? And it's real hot and steamy. It's a pretty laborious job, you know. And so, back to the distillation part. After the thing is completely full, we'll shut the lid. There's usually a gasket in here that would seal it. We batten down all these hatches around here, and just a little bit. I mean, a lot of people get confused and think that this is a pressure vessel or like a pressure cooker, but really there's a 4-inch line of steam coming in and a 6-inch line coming out. So the steam, the most I've ever seen is 1.5 pounds of PSI inside of there. Just enough to keep the steam moving through. We don't at any time want it to condense inside of the cooker, or it will come back down as rain, okay, and not exit and go through the rest of the process. That's also why when we're doing it, we keep these doors closed as much as possible, and we keep it really warm inside of the building, so that the hot steam doesn't touch a cold metal surface and condense prior to exiting the chamber. Okay?
That makes so much sense.
So the steam comes up, exits through this swan neck, and this line would be connected right here, that flexi line to that hard line. The steam comes out, and at that point it's carrying the oil with it, and the steam itself would be floral water or hydrosol, which is water with a little bit of the constituents of the tree in a solution inside of it. It comes into the condenser. This condenser's whole job is to turn a gas back into a liquid by cooling it. The steam enters, and inside of this great big vessel here, there are a bunch of pipes about as round as your finger, stretching the whole length. Outside of those pipes is cold water. It's entering through the bottom blue pipe and exiting and overflowing and exiting through the red pipe, taking with it the heat from the steam, removing heat, forcing that gas back into a liquid. It goes from about 210 degrees on this side to 70 degrees on that side. So it really, just flash cools it, and then everything is slanted like that because once it's a liquid, there's no real pressure behind it, it's all been condensed. It then just runs down from gravity after that. That's why they all have to be slanted. You saw the one in St. Mary's kind of comes up and then goes down into the basement, same reason.
Did you just cover the ends? Couldn't we see through them at Winter Harbor?
Yeah, that plexiglass end that goes on there that makes it more easy to see. It's not the most durable thing. So it's pretty much as soon as the distributors are gone, we cover it with a metal cap and get to business.
I like how you could see the cooling rods that were in there, or tubes. I really like how you could
that is really nice.
It was fun to watch it.
Yeah, we encourage you all to come back for winter harvest so you can see the whole thing in action. It's really something. So that liquid, which is our oil and our hydrosol, runs downstairs due to gravity. If you guys want to follow me down the stairs, and we'll group up by this last separator, just watch your head going down the stairs because there's a couple low spots. The blue line is just cold water coming in, and the red is hot. And that is non-contact water. It never actually touches the steam.
It's outside.
It's outside. Yeah, it's outside the cooling tubes, exactly.
The steam is with the water.
Right. Yep. So far, and you can kind of see a little better here where the steam would enter the bottom of the chamber. It's all taken apart right now, so you're gonna have to use your imagination. We're doing a lot of servicing. The steam is entered, passed through all the chips, gone through the condenser, condensed back into a liquid, and now it is going to come down this pipe. All this fancy stuff here is just so it can tell the computer that it has passed over. That is, once the thing is completely full, I add the steam. About 1 hour later, it has gone through all the chips. And at that point, that is what we call the passover, because it has passed over the top of the cooker and is now going through this entire system. That liquid, being the oil and the hydrosol, is coming down through this tube, entering at the bottom here, swirling, swirling, swirling around. And because the oil is lighter than the hydrosol, it is separating out into this glass tube. There's a drain right here that forces an equilibrium between these two, so the water or fluid level hangs right below this funnel. As the oil collects, it forces the hydrosol down, 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 down. And once this glass tube's about full, I like to collect the oil so I can visually see what's going on in there. At that time, I will block this drain, and the oil level will start to, or all the fluid will start to rise, 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 rise up, and the oil will start dumping down into this funnel. This funnel looks kind of space age, but there's no real magic here. It just comes down, there's a 90, and then it comes out here. So we'll let the oil drain down in through there, And just when it is about to get to the water, we pull our hand off and let the water stay in. We really don't want any water in here, or else we have to separate it again. And the separator has already done that, so we like to let it do its job then. The less water, the easier the next step is just the decanting process. In a barrel like that, like a dairy farm, and bring it in here, and after the test has come back and it is good, you know, that the oil is pure, we pump it up into this reservoir, and it comes down through here. It's run through an unbleached coffee filter. The reason for that is some solids make it through with the steam. Little cell walls, a little bit of pine needle, a bunch of goo that kind of looks like that, like exactly like that, because that's it. And you can see the hydrosol stuck underneath there, the kind of goo layer, and then the oil on top. This process just removes that goo. And also, if there is any hydrosol in there, we can collect it right at the bottom of this vessel, tap it off real quick, and then we have pure oil from there on. We take that oil, put it into 40-gallon drums, stainless steel drums, and that is taken to Utah. Put in a big mixing tank and homogenized, so they mix it all together. So if we're getting woody trees one day and needly trees the next, it all becomes one similar, the same product. So that is pretty much the process that goes on here. We have the laboratory upstairs. The gas chronograph is down in Utah being serviced right now, but it usually is sitting there, and the testing does not take very long. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it prints out something that looks like a seismograph line, like this jagged line, and all the high points are the constituent levels. So it's really pretty interesting. Although we do our test here on this farm, once it is shipped down there, they test it again with lots of different, more advanced tests before they put it on the market. Ours works for our little facility here, but they do like a much bigger test. And that's our automated system on the computer screen if you guys want to look on your way by. There's not too much to see, but I like it because I decided what goes in each little cube. They'd be like, oh, what other information do you need to see? And I would tell them, and they're pretty amazing. I'm not a computer guy, but they punch it in and it would come up on the screen, and there's our temperature for that. So.